This week, it's another video about eco, and I decided to talk about the 3 different kinds of mines that people create, how to create them, and the various pros and cons. So while largely touted as a survival game to blow up the meteor, eco has a very strong builder aspect to it, and underlying everything from a simple hewn log all the way up to creating electronic circuits, a large portion of the material is based on the fundamental activity of mining. If you decide to take on mining as one of your skill sets in eco, particularly in a long-running server, you're always going to be in demand. There's a consistent need for different types of stone as well as various minerals that come out of the ground. Creating a mine that allows you easy access is best suited to the area you're mining and the kind of material you want, and even the biomes that you decide to conduct your mining in can influence what kind of mine you're going to create. Now, there's no one set way to create a mine, even given the kind of mining that you want to do, but there are generally 3 types of mines that people gravitate to, and I want to talk about each of those. So first is what I call the tunnel or ramp mine. This is where you start mining and intentionally create a tunnel that's on a slight slope downwards, so you can lay ramps as you mine and descend into the rocky darkness of the planet. The reason you create this kind of mine with ramps and a tunnel is to provide access with carts and trucks to haul the material out that you're going to be mining underground. This turns out to be my favorite kind of mine. I love the feel of digging down and slowly descending into my mining area. And this kind of mine keeps all the above ground trees, terrain, animals, plants, all of that intact and still usable for other purposes on the surface to create buildings and farms and other things like that. And it's also ideal when there's a lot of surface vegetation and trees that you don't want to have to clear just to create your mine, which is true in a place like the jungle. Now, this type of mine is created with a bit more of a long-term game plan in mind. It can take longer to build this kind of mine and move through a lot of dirt and material you don't really want to get down to the rocks that you do want, but it does provide great access with the trucks I mentioned. When I create this type of mine though, I don't just keep digging straight ahead with the tunnel. I dig down about a minimum of 10 blocks and then create an open space, a kind of turnaround area or place where I can mine greater volumes. I will try to stop my ramp at a level where it seems as though I'm going to be in a rock deposit that has what I'm after. So sometimes it's a little deeper than 10 blocks, but I try to go in a minimum of 10. The reason for that is later in the game, skid steers and excavators come into use, and the excavator in particular can reach about 8 blocks high to gouge out the walls and remove large volumes of material in a single scoop. Every now and then the excavator will bounce up and maybe take out a 9th block, so I try to go at least 10 blocks down. This way, if I wind up mining right underneath a previously mined room, I don't interfere and break up the floor of the room above it. The other thing that stopping and creating a level area does is it creates a turnaround area for your trucks and carts, or a place where you can set stockpiles for materials that you want to save and use later. Gold is a classic example of this, where it's not really needed in the early and middle parts of the game, but in the later game stages, gold winds up becoming a critical resource, so you sometimes wind up with a lot of this gold material as you mine and want to save it off to the side for later retrieval. In the tunnel ramp mine, you usually have to install a large garage door and then claim the area around the garage door to protect it from free access. This is important because the tunnel ramp mine crosses a lot of physical territory, so it's not realistic to be able to claim the entire area you plan to mine in. You can loop around and bend your tunnels underground, But generally speaking, this kind of mine is best for large areas of land that most people won't likely want to claim, and therefore interfere with your underground mining efforts. When you claim a piece of land on the surface, it extends all the way to the core of the planet. So trying to create tunnels and ramps that zigzag around existing land claims just messes up the overall strategy for this kind of mine. The second kind of mine is what I call an open quarry. One of the players on my current server has created one of these right on the outskirts of town in the desert. And what it is exactly as it sounds. He's basically just strip mining all the rocks, all the blocks in a given area that he's claimed. In a desert grassland or other biome where there's not a lot of trees on the surface that you have to cut and clear and stumps to remove, this winds up being a really great alternative. Unlike tunneling, he's extracting every bit of material and just moving his way down layer by layer. Now, he's still building ramps to give himself access to the descending layers of the quarry, but our primary difference here is that the open quarry is exactly that. It's open. So if he had not claimed the land that he's mining, anyone on the server could come into this quarry, take some of the most valuable exposed material, and essentially steal his hard work. So an open quarry relies on fully claiming the land to protect it from intruders, which does fully protect it. It also has an advantage of utilizing every bit of material in the claimed area. In this case, he's mining in the desert, so really what he's after the most is iron ore. What comes along with a lot of that is sandstone. But there are a lot of other players that use the sandstone to create mortar or reconstitute it into cement for buildings and roads, so he can sell all the sandstone as well as the ore that he's really after. Nothing is wasted. And nothing is hidden, just a block or two over from the right or left of a tunnel. That might be the case when you're creating a tunnel or ramp mine. Everything in the open quarry is exposed. If you do wind up completely mining this area out all the way to the planet's core, and yes, there is a bottom to the mineable area, you eventually reach an unminable bedrock, and if that's the case, you can simply unclaim that quarry and move your claims to a new area and start strip mining again. The last kind of mine I want to talk about is a shaft mine. One of the items that becomes available mid-game is an elevator. Right now, the elevators are able to transport a large wooden cart up and down the elevator. But they've talked about making larger elevators in the game that are capable of moving an entire truck. The elevators can travel to any depth, so this allows you the vertical access and an unlimited ability to descend. While waiting for this wooden elevator to become available in the game, you can create your shaft using a simple ladder to go up and down. And if you are descending rather far before stopping to open up an area to mine in, you can create little side pockets in your shaft and store a somewhat permanent cart there to allow you to more easily transfer large quantities of material from the depths of your mine up to the surface. Essentially, using the cart as a little transfer station to load your material from your mining cart to the shaft cart and then to a surface stockpile. That's a lot easier than hand carrying 20 pieces of rock up the ladder by hand all the way to the surface. So why create this kind of mine? I've actually created a couple of these and find them quite useful. Whenever I wind up doing some mining in a highly populated area, I don't have the luxury of creating a ramp and tunnel, or even claiming a fairly good chunk of land to strip mine. I might be restricted to having to mine just a few land claims that could be directly under my house or my store. When space and the ability to spread out your mining operation is limited, then this is a fantastic alternative that winds up working really well. It's also a very secure alternative that doesn't require claiming a lot of land. The only spot of land you need to claim is right where your elevator is positioned. It's very unlikely that someone, based on pure curiosity, will want to dig down 20 blocks in hopes they'll discover what may or may not be down below. and even then, there's a fair probability of being trapped down there and not being able to get back out. You can combine more than one of these types of mines together, which I've done before, and there's really no fixed way or best way to create a mine. It's whatever works best for you and your situation and what you enjoy. But I did think it was kind of cool that players have naturally gravitated towards these three different kinds of approaches to mining. And like I said, it's probably one of the most fundamental gameplay activities that are needed on any eco server. Before I go, there's one more thing to cover, and that is to announce the winner of the July giveaway for a Star Citizen Aurora MR with game package. I'm happy to announce the winner of this prize is Brad Aarons. To claim your prize, send me an email to my business email you'll find on my channel homepage, and send it using your email address that's associated with your RSI account. Include your Star Citizen handle or unique name in that email. Do not send me any other password or login information. After that, you should find a shiny new Aurora with game package waiting for you in your hangar. I hope everyone liked this video. You can subscribe if you want to keep following the gaming news and information, and I'll be talking to you later.